raising a dynamic child. I've been studying the lives of these two great individuals. One is David and the other is Samuel. David was the first and only man who God referred to him as a man after my own heart. David was a man who was so close to God that he was able to do things that nobody else in the Old Testament was able to do. But you realize after you read the story of David, he was not able to fulfill God's purpose for his life. And then the next personality that I studied was Samuel. Samuel is a unique personality because he's one of whom you want to call one of the greatest prophets in the Old Testament. Because the birth of Samuel happened at a time when the voice of God was so rare, and the only Samuel was one who God raised to be able to be used as a prophet in his dispensation. He prophesied within the span of 3 kings, and one of the things that you realize is that he was one of the most successful prophets in Israel. And one of the things that I discovered is that I have been walking on the streets and walking on the road. I have met drunkards, I have met prostitutes, I have met street children, people who the society terms as failures, people who society terms as they have not fulfilled God's will for their lives. Yet I have also worked in banks, I have also worked in major institutions. I have been in meetings and conferences where you meet elites, people who are fulfilling their dreams, their visions, and they're impacting their world in a positive way. And one of the things that I've discovered is that the difference between these two people is found within the story of Samuel. So if you want your life to end up fulfilling purpose, fulfilling destiny, and fulfilling all that God created you for, or even to help your child or to help somebody who is around you, the key, I found it really in the story of Samuel. So if you are ready, I need you to have your pen and your paper, and I want you to get ready because this is gonna be a blast. So are you ready? The first thing I need to tell you is that the birth of Samuel. Samuel was not just another person who was born like any other child. The mother was barren for some time, and she went to God and made a few prayers, and they told God that if you give me a child, I will give him back to you. The first point that comes out of that is that there is no child who is an accident. There is no child who is an accident. A child may be biologically unexpected, but he is divinely orchestrated. And that is why abortion is not just the termination of life. Abortion is the termination of purpose. What is purpose? Purpose is the original intent in the mind of a creator, right? So every time God allows a child to be born on the face of the earth, he has a purpose for it. No child is an accident. The child may have come through unfavorable circumstances. The child might have been born through situations that were not per se pleasing, but to say the truth, God does not allow any person to fall on the face of the earth if he does not have a purpose for him, right? For example, so if I'm using like my phone, this phone has a purpose. It did not just drop from somewhere. There is a purpose that it is meant to serve. And the same way, every human being on the face of the earth has a divine purpose from heaven. And in fact, there are 3 levels of existence of every human being. 1, every human being exists as a seed of eternity in God, and then every human being exists as a human being with purpose on the face of the earth, and then every human being exists as a spirit who will go back to God. So those are the 3 levels of the existence of human beings. And when you exist as a seed of eternity, God usually orchestrates something and he allows you to be born on earth to fulfill a certain purpose. The second thing that I find in the story of Samuel that is very interesting is that God called him to be a prophet. Hannah wanted a child, but God wanted a prophet. So Hannah saw that God was giving her a child, but in the eyes of God, God was providing a prophet for the nation of Israel. What that means is that every child has an assignment on the face of the earth. Every child has an assignment on the face of the earth. What is your assignment? Your assignment is the problem God created you to solve. So for example, a doctor deals with health problems, a lawyer deals with legal problems, an engineer deals with construction and shelter problems, a nurse also deals with health problems. So every profession on the face of the earth really is a problem that somebody is solving. So every child that is born on the face of the earth carries an assignment from God. But one of the things that really interests me is that this statement, I usually love using it, that every person, every individual is a container carrying content, going to continents, and is supposed to die contentless. Right? So God created you as a container. This physical body is only a container. There is so much that God has placed inside of you so that you can be able to deliver to your generation. And the impact should be felt in continents. But now, God's intention is not for you to die with whatever He placed inside of you. God's intention is that you should die an empty man. What that means is that you should have fulfilled your purpose, you should have served your generation, and you should have fulfilled the will of God for your life. But the greatest thing that I found, one of the statements that I love from Dr. Miles Monroe, he says that the richest place in the world is not the gold mines of South Africa, neither the diamonds areas of Tanzania. The richest place on earth is the graves, where many songs that should have been sung were never sung and were buried. Many preachers, many books have been buried in graveyards because these gifts and talents were never nurtured. And if you must be able to fulfill your assignment and your purpose, you must be able to go through the 3 stages that I'm about to share with you. So if you've been blessed with this part 1, get ready for part 2. Kindly subscribe to this channel and be ready for the next session.